Welcome into the PHNX Suns post-game show brought to you by our friends at the DraftKings Sportsbook app, America's top-rated sportsbook app. Don't forget to subscribe and rate and review wherever you listen to your podcast at. We greatly appreciate your support. I'm Lindsey Smith, and I've got Espo here with me. Gerald Bourget will be joining shortly after talking with Suns head coach Monty Williams and the players. Unfortunately, tonight we are hanging out in this dusty, crusty, musty dive bar because the Phoenix Suns win streak has come to an end as they fall to the Atlanta Hawks, 124-115. Espo, the Suns stuck around and they tried to get this one back, but, Trae Young putting up 43 points and the Hawks knocking down 23s just proved to be too much.
Well, and we broke our analytics. This is the first time that I've been in the home studio. You've been in the regular studio. You guys we're 0-1, unfortunately, in this situation. But,
yes.
Look, you can't stop Trae Young in that situation when he's playing as well as he was. You had Herter, who looks like Opie from the Andy Griffith Show, hitting threes like nobody's business at early in this game. When you play defense like that, not fantastic, but the Suns, look, it's the first time they lost in basically a month. So I'm not going to freak out that we're sitting in the dive bar. I did miss our upbeat music, but I'm not going to panic because the Phoenix Suns are still the best team in the NBA. They just hit a road bump tonight in Atlanta.
Yeah, I had to figure out which camera. I was looking at the wrong camera for the intro.
All right.
So
I don't know how I'm sitting in the chair right now. It's going to be very awkward when Gerald comes in and I'm in his lap. So.
Clearly, it has been an off night for everyone around the Phoenix Suns team and whatnot today because it's just not our night. But should we just start off and go to the bar? Let's just get some drinks. I mean, we're in the dive bar. We need some drinks.
What do we get? Oh, I'm on the bottle tonight, too. It's the ATL, and that L is for loss tonight as Trae Young and the Hawks were just too much for the Suns to handle. And I'll kick back a cold one. The best part of this loss was probably Chris Paul when Trae Young flopped and Chris Paul turned to the ref and reenacted the flopping. That was probably the most entertaining moment of the evening. So congratulations, Hawks. We'll take our ATL at the bar and drown our sorrows. Right?
Yeah, but you know what? Sean Murphy in the chat said, listen, second loss of 2022, so we're averaging one a month this year. That ain't too bad. I'm not going to lie. Could be a lot worse.
Yeah, we are in February.
Yeah.
We're almost to mid-February, and it's only the second loss of the year. I'll take it.
WD-40 said, trade everyone, move the team, burn down the arena. Where is the panic button, Espo? Do we need to bring that out?
No, it's buried in it. Actually, it's with the Coyotes crew. We let them have it. We don't. If we need it later, we can get it back from them. They're putting it to good use right now.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you can't win them all. This will definitely be, as our friend Chris Hansen on Twitter says, this will definitely be in the top 10 losses of the season so far, but you can't win them all. You know what I'm saying?
That is a great way to look at it.
That's a good one, right?
One of the top 10. Yes, very much so.
But you know what? One thing that we get to do here in the dive bar that we don't get to do in the VIP lounge is the Wheel of Montyism. Something to help boost our spirits, pick us up a little bit, and just see how we should approach this loss. So why don't we go ahead and give that a spin and see what tonight's Montyism should be.
If we can pull it off digitally, we ditch the actual wheel.
Okay,
tonight's is everything you want is on the other side of hard. And I think that's appropriate tonight.
Yeah.
Look, you gotta be reminded sometimes that not every night is gonna be the best of nights. And you use this as fuel later on in the year, and you use this as fuel in the playoffs where you go, hey, remember, we can have off nights defensively. We can go up against a guy that's hot and we can't do anything to stop him. And you just kind of put that in the back of your mind and go, okay, we remember this one. And who knows? You may see Atlanta come June as well. They were in the Eastern Conference Finals last year. So you may get another run at them in the playoffs as well.
Yeah, but even though we lost tonight, I still have the Suns. If it came down to a 7-game series, I got the Suns between these two squads 10 times out of 10, 7 times out of 7, because it took everything from the Hawks tonight in order to really put this one away. They shot 48.8% from deep. They were 20 of 41 compared to the Suns, 28% on 9 of 32. And I just don't think that happens on a regular basis if we're talking like a 7-game series. I also think defensively, the Suns just didn't have that extra notch, that energy that they typically have. Tonight just kind of felt a little bit slow, a little bit off. So if it came down to a series, I still would pick the Suns every time.
Oh yeah. Like, look, I don't think this was the case of Atlanta's a better team. I think they were a better team tonight. Suns were off from behind the arc, didn't shoot
Yeah.
as well as they usually do defensively, which they've been one of the better teams in the NBA. They struggled tonight, and it's not just against Trae Young. They struggled at closing out on 3-pointers. They didn't make that shot as tough as it should have been for Atlanta. So yeah, off night for the Suns, and they're allowed to have those once a month. It's okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, WD40 said, "We're all right. This ain't like the Cardinals."
No,
Ouch, but he's
no.
true. But it's true. It's not like this team is built completely different. It's like you said, you're gonna lose games throughout the season. This one just happened to be to a team that really wanted it. They really wanted to get the win tonight, and even though they shot so well and they had all the extra energy, they still had to work really hard to close this one out, because there was a point in time there close to the end of the game that the Suns could have come back and taken this one.
Well, and if you look at this, this one stat right here explains the entire game. 2 of 13. That was Chris Paul and Devin Booker's combined shots from beyond the arc tonight.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't happen on on a regular basis. I mean, that is something that is a rarity and a big reason why this Suns team lost this evening. So I don't. There's no panic button. There's no worry. I mean, if it weren't for a weird play there at the end where the Suns steal the ball and then lose it out of bounds, they could have cut the lead to 4 with about 40 seconds left to go. So they were still right in this until the very end. Just an off night. There's no other way of really putting it right
So Brittany Price in the chat said on Twitter, someone complained that the TNT team only talked about the Suns and that national media hates Atlanta. I found that very, very ironic. Did you kind of notice that tonight, Espo?
No, I listened to the game on mute. Which means I didn't listen. I watched the game on mute is what I should have said.
Right.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I watched it on mute. I didn't want to hear Stan Van Gundy. Couldn't care less. I decided to do that and take notes. So.
That's fair. I mean, I don't know that I would say was, I mean, to be completely honest, there was a lot of chatter here in the studio, so it was hard to hear everything that was being said, but if that was the case, then all I have to say is it's about time that they actually start talking about the Suns more on these broadcasts than the opponent, being that the Phoenix Suns are the best team in the NBA still, regardless of tonight's win. It should be like that. The Suns should be getting a lot more attention from all the national media, and especially during their own games. So
you know you're allowed to tell the crew in there to shut the hell up if you want to listen to the game, right?
I know, but we were all getting to know each other. We got some new faces in here. We were
I
hanging out.
I don't care. Yeah, you run that thing. You tell them they can be quiet if you need it. To be, right?
Another thing tonight that kind of stood out, and a lot of people bringing it up in the chat as well, Deandre Ayton just kind of not. It seems like he's just still not in game shape. He had a little bit of a rough outing. Didn't really see, I don't think we saw him at all in that fourth. Yeah, didn't see him at all in the fourth quarter. Are you concerned? Do you think it's just going to take a few games to get back into his rhythm?
Yeah, I'm not overly concerned. I'm not going to hit the panic button at this point. It's not worth it to freak out like that at this time. I think he's 2 games back after being out for 15, 16 days. It takes some time to get back in the rhythm,
Mm-hmm.
especially with him. I'm not overly concerned about that. Now, if we go a week and it's still like this, that's when I'll be concerned, and when you may have to consider how many more minutes do you give Bismarck and JaVale, because they proved that they can hold it down. Because if he's not ready, if he's not comfortable, you might as well give him the time to get comfortable and let those guys do what they were doing a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna hop off the bandwagon and go, oh, see, proof he doesn't deserve the max. I'm gonna go give him a few games. That's all right.
Yeah, Josh in the chat said, not a big deal. He'll get back into the swing of things. Sean said he was gone almost a month. I just wish Monty would maybe sub him sooner. I think the biggest thing is, yeah, like you said, you got to give him a few games to get back into midseason form, really find his rhythm again. So I'm not overly worried about DeAndre. And it is unfortunate because you'd like for him to come back and then just have an immediate impact and be right back there to his old self. But unfortunately, that's just not the way that these things work sometimes. So it is what it is. All right, we
Yeah.
are going to take a quick break because I want to tell you guys that the moment that we've all been waiting for since September, it is finally here. And in honor of the big game, DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of Super Bowl 56, is giving new customers 56 to 1 odds on either team. So bet just $5 and get 280 in free bets if your team wins. Now, if you're not a new customer, you can experience Super Bowl 56 with same game parlays. Combine multiple bets from the same game for a bigger payout. The more legs you add, the more money you can win. DraftKings is safe, secure, and reliable. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, use promo code PHNX, and get 56 to 1 odds on either team. Bet just $5 and get 280 in free bets if your team wins. That's promo code PHNX at DraftKings Sportsbook. Just a reminder, that is 21 and older only, Arizona only. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. New customers only. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. All right, Espo. One really, really bright spot in tonight's game, of course, is Mikal Bridges. And that is why we are going to name him tonight's Draft King of the game. So Mikal Bridges finished with 24 points. He had 2 steals, 4 assists, 8 rebounds, and it was his 3rd straight game of 20 or more points. And that's the first time in his career he has had 3 consecutive 20-point games. So all of the flowers tonight to Mikal Bridges, who is our Draft King of the game.
Future All-Star replacement for Draymond Green.
Let's
Mikal Bridges.
go.
I'm just going to speak it into existence.
I love that.
That is, the crown placement there was very good, right? I like the crown placement.
Do you?
But I do. Can we go back to the crown placement? I know you guys
Chat,
are.
what do you guys think of the crown
That's right.
placement? We've got a newbie
Nope,
behind the chair today.
that's an old king of the game. That's not tonight. That's part of the problem. Here we go. There we go. I love the crown placement. I don't know what Mikal is doing to Trae in this photo, but I love the crown placement. That's all I'm going to say. Just excellent crown placement. Let's choose the photo a little bit better next time. All right. I love that I'm putting them through the paces by having to float me different places and do different things, and then I'm giving them crap.
Sean said, is that a crown or a tiara? Just kidding. And then Brittany said the ref in the pic trying to steal the spotlight. Yeah, we do have Sean is our producer for tonight. And this is Sean, this is your first time producing a Suns post game, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, first time producing a Suns post game. There's a lot of elements to our shows compared to some of the other shows here at PHNX. So he's doing a great job. He's also got a shadow with him tonight too. So holding it down back there behind the Mac while Shane is off doing fun things with Saul, which is why Saul's not here too.
Josh, Espo with more movement than the Suns' defensive rotation tonight. For those of you who are listening on audio only, I'm not in studio. I'm in a little box that keeps moving around the screen tonight, and it's pretty entertaining.
But Chris said, most importantly, Espo, you're on the correct side of me. So that's a positive.
Well, we've got to make sure that your good side's always showing. I don't have a good side, so we just put me wherever it need be. So.
So more on Mikal Bridges. What did you like about his performance tonight? And even more so broadly, just the last 3 games that he's strung together.
Look, he's moving without the ball. He's cutting to the hoop. He's connecting on his shots from deep. This is everything we've wanted from Mikal offensively. Plus, he grabbed those boards, still playing solid defense. I know it's tough because tonight in particular, he's playing against Trae Young defensively, but everybody on the Hawks was hitting shots. It was a difficult defensive night all around. But overall, Mikal has just continued to prove he's a complete package, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I like the fact that also he's been going these 3 games, but Cam Johnson, is also been going as well, and it's been great to see the twins starting to connect again. Both of them kind of easing back into those roles offensively that we know that they both can play. I love what Mikal does, and I'm not. I know it sounds like I'm joking that he should be an all-star replacement for Draymond, but I genuinely mean it. I mean, if Draymond got in because he's kind of the Swiss Army knife for the Warriors, that's Mikal's role
Mm-hmm.
here in Phoenix, and he's better offensively than
Mm-hmm.
Draymond. So I think he deserves a shot at that, and these last 3 games just solidify that belief for me.
I agree. I think both fitting in the sense of the Suns as a team deserve it, and fitting in the sense that I do believe Mikal deserves it. And if you're replacing Draymond, like you said, it's just kind of like it's a seamless fit, right? A seamless replacement because, like you said, it's very similar to what Draymond brings to that Warriors team, what Mikal does on our side of things. So I would love nothing more than to see Mikal Bridges named as his replacement for the All-Star game this year. Like, could you imagine? Like, the pictures that we get of Mikal during games are so great. They bless our timeline after almost every single win. I'm sure you guys saw JaVale McGee posted some really fun pictures the other day on his Instagram stories. We need that from the All-Star game with Mikal Bridges. Like, we just do.
I want Cam in the 3-point contest, Mikal out there for the game, and then they can do some kind of video series while they're out there together, showing us all the highlights of being stuck in Cleveland for a weekend. Honestly, what the hell else are they going to do? They might as well entertain all of us.
This is true. I mean, why not?
I can't imagine the Cleveland nightlife is hopping. I don't know.
Yeah. I wouldn't say so. I mean, they got cute little streets. There's a couple streets that were cute that I saw, but nothing too crazy.
Oh,
Uh,
that is the ultimate Lindsey insult. They have cute little streets. That's as mean as she's gonna get about Cleveland. I'm gonna just tell you, Cleveland sucks, and that they shouldn't have the All Star game there. But
but at the
that's just
same
me.
time, like with the All-Star NBA, like the NBA will come into any city regardless of how poppin' or not it is, and they will literally people will rent out an abandoned warehouse and set it up for a party. And it will be one of the hottest parties at All-Star Weekend. So even
Nope.
though the nightlife in Cleveland may not be all that, the nightlife at All-Star Weekend, regardless of where it is, still is all that, if you know what
Nah,
I mean.
even the NBA is like, man, we don't want to rent some kind of empty space in Cleveland. Like, yeah, let's skip the parties this year. Everybody can go back to their hotels and eat a warm cookie that's on their pillow or something. It's Cleveland. We're not making this place cool.
I'm sure that they would like that in theory, but who knows
Right.
how the things
Brian
will shape out.
Brian says Cleveland is the Walmart Mesa. I take great offense to that. I live in Mesa. Well, yeah, that's just uncalled for. Let's just say Cleveland is the Walmart Sierra Vista. All right.
I mean, fair. I was about to be really mad at you, but then I was like, it's Sierra Vista, so you're not wrong.
Is the NBA renting out any warehouses in Sierra Vista for good parties
Yeah,
this
I
All Star
highly
weekend?
doubt that. I highly doubt
Exactly.
that. Okay,
That's what I
so
thought.
Totri in the chat said losing is never fun, but do you almost think a loss at this point in the season is almost a good thing? Maybe a moment that reminds them even the Giants can fall at sometimes? What do you think?
Well, Totri, our new host of ASU, knows a lot about losing basketball. So thank you for weighing in with it. But I think it could be, I think it'd be helpful. I mean, I look, I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna act as if this is some like major milestone and it'll wake up a sleeping giant. It's their 10th loss of the year out of,
Yeah.
four out of 51 games. So it's eh, it is what it is. Like if this were a loss to a team that you're going to play in the playoffs a week before the playoffs, maybe you go, yeah, that's good because you learn something. You look at it and figure out, okay, here's how what we did wrong, how they could beat us, those kind of things. But it's Atlanta in the beginning of February. It is what it is. I don't think it's helpful or and it doesn't hurt all that much either.
Yeah, Bean said we were due one, can't win them all. But I kind of understand where I think Totri's coming from, that every once in a while a good like palate cleanser could serve you well, right? Like if you're out eating sushi, you get a good chunk of ginger in your mouth to kind of just reset your
Well,
palate, set the tables from scratch a little bit. Just another little reminder that hey, like we got to be on our P's and Q's. We got to make sure we're continuing to play our game and continuing to get better because it can get lonely at the top sometimes, and maybe every once in a while you just need a visitor in there to remind you to clean out the house a little bit.
you eat at way fancier sushi joints than I do. I'm just gonna say that. Mine come out on
Literally, gas station
conveyor
sushi comes
belts.
with ginger, Espo. Come
Oh, come on.
on.
I didn't know I was supposed to eat that stuff to cleanse the palate.
Well,
I'm
why else
used to,
would they put it in there?
I don't know. People put weird garnish on everything. Doesn't mean you're supposed to eat it. I like my sushi coming out of a conveyor belt with a slot on the table that I can just drop my plates in. I don't need any palate cleanser. Just keep it coming.
Yeah, they definitely have ginger at those places too.
I, I'm not eating ginger, is what I'm trying to say in this. No palate cleanser.
Okay. Well, just a reminder to everyone who is in the chat and watching live with us right now, Gerald Bourget will be joining us shortly. He is talking with Monty and the players currently. So hopefully any minute now he'll be able to come in and give us some updates from the team. Until then, Espo, it is time to take your shot, presented by Arizona Department of Health Services. So COVID-19 vaccines are free for everyone 5 and older. Those 12 and older are also now eligible for a booster. Visit azhealth.gov for a location near you. Espo, what is our take your shot of the night?
2 things of vodka, please. After no, look, it was any damn shot that Trae Young took tonight. This guy did not miss. All right, that is more green than the river in Chicago on St. Patrick's Day. Okay, he only missed a handful of shots, one of which was from the logo. If you look at that shot chart closely, he shot 64% from the field, 16 of 25. You're not beating the Atlanta Hawks when Trae Young goes 16 to 25, drops 43 points, basically goes ham on you. So he took his shot and he made a hell of a lot of them tonight.
He surely did. Oh man, Trae Young again finishing with 43 points. The Hawks, those 3-point buckets just were killers tonight. At one point in time, because in the first and second quarter of this game, everyone on Twitter was saying, like, don't worry, they're going to cool off eventually. There's no way they can sustain this throughout an entire game. I think towards the end of the third quarter, I looked over at Gerald and I'm like, Gerald, when are they going to cool off? Like Twitter said that they were going to cool off.
They ain't.
I gave him those daggers. Like, this is on you, Gerald. This is what you have to go do. Go stop the Atlanta Hawks from knocking down threes.
Yeah,
I just
Trae Young
needed
just
Gerald
hit
to
another
step
one.
up, and he didn't.
Yeah, Trae Young just hit another one. By the way, how many interns do we have in the room?
Just one, I believe.
Can you get one in the seat next to you? Just have him come over and sit down. I don't want him to talk. Just please sit in the chair.
I don't want him to talk.
Up, sit down. All right, then can we move my box up where his head is? All right, there we go. Now it works. There,
Oh
perfect.
God.
All right, Just please stay there. You don't need to talk. Turn off the mics. But until Gerald gets here, I needed to feel like I wasn't disembodied head floating around. So, see, this is why you get interns. This is great for the audio, by the way. This is spectacular. Look at that. I've never looked this good on this show. Thank you.
So says Jay said in the chat, this is weird. Imagine how I feel right now. Like, this is so, like, I have a body over here, and then I have Espo's head over here. Like, this is so bizarre. It's just a very bizarre situation.
Lindsey, you should not be referring to the interns as bodies. That is it. Just
I know
inappropriate.
that was
all
probably
right?
really rude, but
That's just wrong. All right. I had a real point to this. Now it actually looks like I'm in the room. Too bad. Too bad we weren't wearing the same color shirt. It would have looked real good. But
well, you should have
anyways, let's get back
better
to
than that.
let's get back to the Suns, Lindsey.
Yeah.
Are we
done? Yeah. He's got a black coat. Hold on, Espo.
All right.
Got you.
All right. Oh, look at this. This is great audio. Everybody listening on audio, you're missing the greatest moment in podcast history. This is what you get for only listening to the audio. All right. It's it's spectacular what you're missing. This is why you should subscribe to the YouTube page, hit that like button, get that notification. It's what you need.
You could get double Espo like Petey last night. That's true. So Brian in the chat said, "Is Gerald here? Because damn that girth, though. I want you guys, when Gerald comes in, don't tell him I'm telling you this. When Gerald comes in, I'm gonna need y'all to blow up the chat with that because he's in his head about it right now. So let's just play around with him a little bit and make him a little bit nervous when he joins us."
By the way, I love that Chris K in the chat said Espo's diet worked fantastically. The way you drop all that weight real quick, body double for your podcast.
Nice.
We figured this out. So
very nice. All right, Espo, what else kind of stood out to you from tonight's game that you'd like to touch on?
Devin Booker went cold there for a little while, second, third quarters. And when you're missing as many guys as as they are guys trying to come back from injury, in the case of Jay and and DA tonight, I think that makes it even more difficult, right? It's just it's tough when Devin isn't hitting for a stretch there, especially when your opponent is as hot as the Atlanta Hawks were from behind the arc. So that stuck out to me. But what also stuck out to me is I think this is another game where it may not impact the team looking back on it, but I think this is another night where James Jones looks and goes, all right, I know I said to local media that we probably are happy with what we have, but it's time to get a little bit more depth.
Mm-hmm.
I hate to bag on the guy, but I don't need to see any more Elfrid Payton. Yeah, I really don't. I love that Ish Wainwright's going out there and trying his damnedest, but I need a guy that's proven to be able to do what we all hope and wish that Ish Wainwright could do. It's time to just tighten this stuff up before the deadline. Be ready to go for the playoffs because there will be nights like this in the playoffs, and you're going to need somebody other than just Cam Johnson on the bench to step up and help you offensively. You need a backup wing and point guard / shooting guard that can help you out, or a guy that can play small ball 4 or 5.
Mm-hmm.
You need that. That is what the Suns have to accomplish before that deadline. And if this game serves as anything, hopefully it's a reminder to James Jones that that's a necessity.
Yeah. Being said, I doubt one game in February is changing anything. Sean says Payne will be back though, but also agrees that Elfrid isn't it.
I get that Payne will be back, but we also know that Payne's been inconsistent.
True.
And that's why I want as much insurance as possible. If this is your window, have like be 6 deep. I don't care. Make sure that you have every angle covered right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's worth it. At this point in time, we know how close we are to the possibility of winning a championship. You may as well get that insurance policy just to be on the safe side, because it's worth it in the long run to take that chance and just see if something does happen to come out of it. And at the end of the day, like, if you don't make a move, I still think that this team is good. But if there is a move to be made, I highly doubt James Jones will not jump all over it.
Agreed. I mean, if the right thing is available, he'll do it. Now, I don't know if there's going to be any sort of big move out there for them to do. I doubt it. I think that that's probably not going to be the case. But there's there certainly are things around the edges that I think they could do to pull it off. Mike B says, love to see us get Covington by trade and then sign Dragic if when he's bought out. I think that is the kind of uh, thing that'll happen. I think they'll make a smaller move in the trade market, get somebody in the buyout market, and look at it as, okay, now we're fully loaded for the playoffs. And maybe those guys don't have a big impact, or maybe it's one or two moments in the playoffs that these guys come up big. We've seen it multiple times. Torrey Craig was that guy last year. In the past, we've also seen guys like Tim Thomas be that kind of guy that wasn't here all season but came in late and made an impact. So something's going on.
Yeah,
so.
We got to kick you out of your chair.
All right.
Sorry.
Thank you, intern. Much appreciated.
Thank you. Gerald's back.
I'm sure that was a gross I'm sure that was a gross misuse of an intern, and I'm okay with it. The girth is
what
back.
What does it do for an intern?
What does that? What does it do that he could say that he has now been the body double for the best podcast host in Phoenix?
I mean, it could make for fun social media content, I guess. Like turn it into a meme. Gerald's here, everybody.
I'm here.
The girth, yay!
I told you. Look at the chat. Everybody in the chat.
Can we get Gerald's mic back on too?
Was my mic off?
There we go.
There we go. Now everyone can hear you.
Give the people what they want, and I'm not going to say what they want, but the chat says.
Give them the girth, Gerald. Give them the girth.
He said it.
Look at that chat just going crazy for you, Gerald.
Oh.
God, how does it feel to be so special?
I think it's just the nickname. That's. I think it's just the nickname, but I'll take it.
Josh Hunt,
tell him.
The artist formerly known as Zewio the Girth.
My old nickname.
All right, Gerald. Well, you were able to talk with Monty and some of the players after tonight's game. Mm-hmm. Let's start with Monty. What did he have to say?
Yeah, he was the first to admit that his defensive strategy, I don't know if you guys touched on this at all, but the Suns' bigs were dropping. They were in drop coverage a lot of the time in the pick and roll on Trae Young, and he said that he stuck with that coverage for a little bit too long, and he should have gone smaller sooner, and that was something that we saw in the fourth quarter when they went with Cam Johnson and Jay Crowder as their two bigs in that small ball lineup. So I had been wondering about that, why we hadn't seen more of Ish Wainwright at the 5, why we hadn't seen more small ball, because the Hawks were just killing them in that pick and roll. But just one of those nights where Monty didn't really have it either. The Suns' defense didn't have it. He said their defense wasn't up to their usual standard, which makes sense because the Hawks hit 23s. I'm very sorry that I couldn't do a better job of guarding the Hawks myself. I know that you wanted me to.
Thank you.
Quite disappointed.
I appreciate that, Gerald. You're too kind.
She looked over at me near the end of the third, and she's like, when are they going to start missing the threes like Twitter promised me? I was like, I don't know. Do you need like a timestamp? Like, what do you want? Am I in trouble?
Fix it.
How did you not text Monty and say, hey, go small already? Come on.
Well, I mean, I said the 9-minute mark of the fourth quarter because she needed a timestamp, and then they missed a bunch of threes at that point.
See, if you would have said that earlier in the game, maybe they would have missed more.
Exactly. Why didn't you say the 9-minute
power, Gerald? You just got to use it.
I did what I could, man. I tried.
No, you didn't. If you had said the 9-minute mark of the first quarter, we'd be in the VIP lounge right now in the dive bar. Hedge your bet, my friend.
Oh boy.
Sean in the chat, Gerald said, if I'm being honest, I love how Monty is admittedly still learning and can tell you in wins or losses what he can do differently.
Right. And you can look at this game, and it wasn't his best coached game because the Hawks were just picking him apart in that drop coverage. The JaVale McGee minutes, the Deandre Ayton minutes weren't great. And then he went small, and, he said they got exploited when they started trapping while they were small, which they did. They gave up those 2 John Collins lobs. But he is just very much open about how much he relies on his assistant coaches, how much the players on the court give him suggestions. He's always the guy to kind of deflect praise and accept blame. So tonight he was accepting the blame for the way that they defended. But, it wasn't all bad. They did have some nice stuff to say about getting Chris and Book in as all-stars, which was nice. Monty was saying, obviously, we would have wanted a win to kind of celebrate this all-star thing, but he's really excited for them and for their families. And both Chris Paul and Devin Booker said, we don't take this for granted. Chris Paul's been here 12 times, so it'd probably be easy for him to do that. But he's excited because he said this is only the second time in his career where his head coach has been coaching the All-Star game, so he was looking forward to that too.
Yeah, that'll be super fun.
By the way, Brittany Price in the chat wins the chat this evening. She says, "Party on, Girth." And that is, as a child of the 90s, that warms my heart.
There's a comma in there, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Totally different if there's no comma there.
Punctuation is important.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
So in addition to Monty, I know you spoke with Devin. Did you speak with anybody else or just Devin and Monty?
We talked with Devin, Monty, and Chris Paul.
All right. Well, let's start with Devin.
Yeah. So Devin, he said he kind of echoed what Chris Paul said, both in regards to the All-Star game and the defense. The first thing out of their mouths when they were asked, what went wrong tonight? What were the reasons behind the loss? Our defense didn't show up. Our defense wasn't up to par. They were very aware of it. Trae Young had a phenomenal game. He proved why he's an all-star. I mistakenly said in the pregame show that he got snubbed. I forgot totally that he is actually starting despite being on a terrible thing. Yeah, despite being on a terrible team. Not a terrible team, but a sub 500 team. So they were aware that the defense wasn't great. And then the all-star thing, they both said the exact same thing as far as we don't take this for granted. And that's funny to hear Devin Booker say that because he's only 25 years old and this is the first time he's actually been voted in. But no, they're very happy about it. I'm sure they would have rather it been on a night where they could enjoy a win. A 12 straight win would have been nice, but they just won 11 games straight. They had a bad night. The Hawks shot the lights out. They didn't bring it. And I think it was a good opportunity to kind of bring them back down to earth a little bit and tighten up some areas that they need to address.
One thing I didn't think about is it kind of sucks for these guys, Devin and CP3, to find out like 2 minutes before the game, like on the sideline, that they made the All-Star team rather than Draymond got to just hang out on TV and find out he made it, but these guys find out when they're about to play. But I'm glad that they both made it. They both always have the right attitude with this kind of stuff. They have an immense respect for the game. And to your point about tonight, Gerald, it's not like the Suns got blown out either. They played a bad game. Atlanta played a fantastic game. It still was a 6-point game with 40 seconds to go and easily could have been 4. With that turnover that Atlanta had. So yeah, not a big deal tonight. I brought this up beforehand, but wanted your thoughts on it as well, Gerald. Do you think tonight could be the kind of night that makes James Jones look at the roster and go, all right, maybe we do need a little bit of reinforcement if we have to go small or these kind of things?
I think it kind of has to be. I think if the Suns had just been riding a win streak into the All-Star break, it would have been a lot easier to just sit back and feel good about where your team is. And that's what he said publicly, to be fair. But then again, as the general manager of a team, when you go on a public radio show, your words are going to be broadcast everywhere. So in terms of leverage, that is what you're supposed to say. And I think he's too smart of a GM. He's too well aware of how to build a winning team and how much depth matters to just kind of sit on his hands. Maybe I'm wrong. We'll see in the coming week or so. But I just feel like, the Elfrid Payton minutes, he was okay in his first stint last game. And then again tonight, he had some moments. But by and large, the Elfrid Payton minutes have been pretty painful. Landry Shamet being out with an ankle injury just puts more strain on the backcourt. They don't have as much depth there right now. They have a ton of injuries, and they've got like 5 or 6 guys that play the center spot currently occupying a roster spot. So like in the playoffs, you're only going to play 1, maybe 2 of those guys, and you're going to want a small ball option. Right now, the Suns' small ball option at the 5 is either a severely undersized Jay Crowder or Ish Wainwright, who is currently playing on a 2-way contract and not eligible to play in the playoffs for the Suns as it is. So they need a little bit more wing depth. They need, like we've talked about, another ball handler or a guy who can create his own shot. So I really do think, it sucks. I would hate to see a guy like Dario Saric go. And Jalen Smith has really done well with his opportunities when he's been given them at the 5, not at the 4, but at the 5. And it would suck to see either one of them go. But this team needs to be all in on a championship. Their window is right now. They could really lock this thing down and give themselves the best shot possible at winning a title with 1 or 2 moves on the margins. I have a hard time thinking that he wouldn't be willing to sacrifice, a guy who's not playing for the team right now, a draft pick that he probably knows he made a mistake on, or a first round pick that wouldn't be until 2024. I just have a really hard time thinking he won't do something.
I feel like, too, I don't want to, say that James Jones is saying that just to say it or save face or anything of that sort, because he is pretty honest about these things. But I also feel like it would do a disservice to this team to just come outright and be like, yeah, we're looking to move some pieces.
Right.
Like, how bad would that feel for the players on the team who, are the ones who potentially could get moved? Like, I would feel even worse if my GM came out and said something like that. Even if I knew that my name was out there, it would make me feel worse.
Oh, yeah. Like,
if he was publicly saying that. So
yeah, these guys are human beings. Like they read and they see all this stuff just like the rest of us, even if sometimes they pretend like they don't or they tell us they don't. They do. They're well aware. You're not going to tell me that an NBA player who has all these friends out there who are probably constantly on their phones are not sending them this shit as they're seeing it. Like, it affects them. And having to worry not just about being traded from the number 1 team in the NBA to another team, but having to move cities, having to move your family. Like, these are all things that a lot of people don't ever think about when it comes to players being traded. They're treated as, like Pokemon playing cards that can just be dished here left and right. So I do respect that approach. It's the only approach you can take with this kind of thing.
Is.
But yeah, I think if you are James Jones, you're trying to build a championship roster. There are definitely some areas of need, some areas that you can improve and really bolster this team down for a title run.
Yeah, you have to also be worried about having to move to Cleveland or Sacramento. Like, that's a lot of pressure on a human being to think about that. Could you imagine if James Jones just went on radio though and went, "Yeah, we're looking to deal Jalen Smith, Dario Saric. If anybody's interested in this crappy Landry Shamet contract, that guy can go." Like, what do people expect him to say? Like, he's not going to come out and go, "Here's the game plan, guys. Let's see what we can make happen." I mean, well, that'd be one cocky general manager. That'd be impressive.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of players would be like, "Yeah, I don't really know if I want to play with that guy being at the helm of my team."
Yeah,
might be questioning there. Okay, so go ahead.
Can I break some news?
Yeah,
break some news.
All right, it's big news. You guys ready?
I'm concerned, but yeah.
This won't be an oh no moment. Don't worry, Gerald. I've been informed by sources close that are reliable that PHNX is going to drop 3 new Sun shirts soon.
Oh, hell yeah.
3?
Yeah. 3. Not 1, not 2, but 3. Yeah, I went LeBron with it. We're going to drop a big 3 of shirts, all Suns related. I've seen 2 of them. Well, I actually have seen versions of all 3 designs, and chef's kiss to our graphics department.
Send them over, Espo.
Yeah, I need to take a look at these designs because
Gerald and I want to be in the Cool Kids Club too.
Hey, a few people in our Discord have actually already seen it. This is one of those members perks where if you want to see if you guys actually participated in that Discord, you'd be able to see them too, right?
Wow.
So.
If you're in the Discord, you get access to things that we don't even get. So that's incredible.
Wait, did you post it in the Discord? Because I haven't been on there today.
Nope. We asked, hey, does anybody want to see, see a special new T-shirt? And yes, they all saw it. So if you become a member, I don't know when we're going to drop these. It'll probably be, sometime in the next week, I'd guess. But If you want to sneak peek and you're not already a member, go to gophnx.com, become a member,
Ooh,
hit me up in the Discord, and I will hook you up with the sneak peek on the shirts. I think I
look.
pissed some people off with saying I had breaking news, as if I was going to be Adrian Wojnarowski and go,
Right.
the Phoenix Suns have just traded. I'm sitting in a closet. How am I going to know what the hell is going on anywhere else?
I'm not gonna
So,
know. Josh in the chat said, hold on, where'd it go? Oh, I've seen it. The design is absolutely beautiful. Patrick in the chat said, I've seen one. It's pretty damn neat. So
yeah, and
apparently
Brit-
we're in for a mighty fine treat.
I'm very excited. All of our PHNX Sun shirts are awesome, and then the PHNX Rising one
Yeah, that just
dropped today is really cool. I already ordered
yeah,
mine.
welcome to our PHX Rising crew. Joining the family today.
Yes.
Great job on their first show. They killed it on social today. Now the hard work begins, guys. The first one's always fun. Then you got to start doing the work. But we look forward to seeing it. Owen had a great article on gophnx.com too. So if soccer or football, as those in the know like you call it, are your kind of thing, that is not how it sounds when somebody in the know says football. But if it's your kind of thing, go check them out on our YouTube page. Check out the content on gophnx.com.
Absolutely.
You'll enjoy it. Brittany says, I feel too old for the Discord. I guarantee you I'm older than you, and it's fun. It's not,
Brittany, you ain't
our
too old for the
Discord's different.
Discord.
We ain't like live streaming video games in this Discord. We're talking Suns. It's okay.
Yeah. Okay, so before we get to our final topic of the show that has nothing to do with tonight's game, anything else from Gerald, you, Espo, you guys?
No, not really. It was a pretty cut and dry
Yeah.
post game talks with them. You know, it's not often they get kind of thoroughly beat from start to finish like that. But Monty did say, you know, something that I mentioned, which was this is a good opportunity to kind of get grounded a little bit, especially right before the All-Star break, because it was starting to feel like the Phoenix Suns could do no wrong. This was a nice reminder they need to lock in and do the things that have gotten them to this point. And I'm sure they probably will. This is a fun road trip, and they've got some good opponents coming up, and they usually raise their games to that level.
All right, well then let's move into our final topic of the night. So obviously we know that Devin Booker and Chris Paul are going to hold it down for us representing at the All-Star game this year. But what we want to talk about today is a tweet that one Robin Lopez sent out just a little while ago. I believe it was yesterday or the day before. He said, quote, "Why are All-Star game challenges limited to basketball? Can we get Giannis, LeBron, and Steph and Book and CP3 going head-to-head in Jeopardy or Wheel of Fortune or, I guess, Legends of the Hidden Temple? Do that one instead." End quote. And I 100% agree with this tweet. As much as I do love the slam dunk contest, I love the actual All-Star game, skills competition are fun, Rising Stars is okay. I think it would be more fun to watch these guys do some random things that are outside of their sport that maybe allow us to get to know their personalities a little bit more too.
Yeah, like put them on, what's it called with Steve Harvey? Family Feud.
Family Feud?
Do a Family
That'd be a good
Feud
one.
or a trivia show or something like that where they compete, or do like Double Dare. Remember that? With all the slime from back. I think it was Double Dare 2000 on Nickelodeon, where they would
Super
like
sloppy Double Dare. Yes.
Yeah, they like pull
Super
flags
sloppy
out of
Double
giant
Dare.
noses, and there'd be slime everywhere, and it was do something like that. I'd love to see that.
You know what I really want to see? I want to see Floor is Lava.
That would
I
be
really
fun.
want to see some of them do Floor is Lava.
That would be pretty fun.
How about the guys that are like the worst in the league have to play Squid Games?
Oh my god!
Minus the death, though, right? Like, can we just replace the murder with like slime?
The death is they have to go to the G League.
This man's just trying to
right?
murder the entire Sacramento Kings in one fell swoop. Damn.
Hey, they basically killed their own hopes. I mean, it's not.
Oh man.
Look, I want to see a cooking contest. Could you imagine a cooking contest with NBA players?
There'd be
That'd
some
be
good
fun.
ones on there because I've heard like there are quite a few players around the league who actually are okay cooks.
I'm sure.
There's
Like
a lot
Landry.
who are probably terrible because they just hire somebody to do it.
Yeah.
But I'm sure there are a couple that can that can do some really good cooking.
I know Landry is a good cook. He
Mhm.
loves to cook, and that's kind of the only thing he's been good at cooking this season.
Aaron Baines used to love to like smoke meats or
Mhm.
anything that had to do with cooking meat.
Yeah,
He was really good at it.
I'm not
Michael
surprised by
B-
that at all.
Yeah, me
Michael
neither.
Beasley used to like to smoke weed. There could be a competition there.
Well, I feel like
Look,
that's probably a good amount of players at this point, Espo.
it's true, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not
No.
judging it. I'm just stating it as a fact. All right. I would love to see. You could get some guys like McHale and other guys to do Last Comic Standing, where they compete in stand-up comedy. That'd be entertaining. Who wouldn't want to see that? In honor of the gentleman that did this tweet, I want to see Robin Lopez and Devin Booker in a tag team wrestling match against NBA mascots. Like, why could that not happen at All-Star Weekend?
That would be funny.
I want to see the media, guys like Stephen A. Smith and all these other guys that are always yelling about NBA athletes, have to do the skills competition so we all can laugh at them. How about that?
I mean, that could be entertaining.
I actually did that at the New Orleans All-Star game, and it was embarrassing as shit. So I want to see other guys have to do it.
Oh, Chris said an escape the room.
Okay.
That one would be fun. And then, where are the other ones? She also said, she also said, give me Cam Johnson on Jeopardy. Brittany said, bring back American Gladiators.
Okay.
Like, some of these are pretty good. I feel like they could be really fun.
Juice Bean saying the Lopez brothers doing karaoke.
That would
I'd
be
like
great.
to see a voice competition. I'd be down for that.
Yeah.
Why not?
Or just do the Masked Singer with NBA players.
Right.
That'd be great.
We could do a who leaves the arena earliest, and it could be a competition between Lakers and Clippers fans.
Oh, boy. Hey, shout out to Heat fans, okay? They missed Game 6 of the finals that one year because they left like the fourth quarter.
That's right.
Remember that? And then they wouldn't let them back in.
They wouldn't let them back in.
They can compete as well. That's fine.
Oh.
Yeah, even some video game tournaments even within that. I think it could all be fun. Like, it would be nice to have a couple like extra side activities for some of these guys that we can watch streaming that just kind of give us a little bit more personality. But I will say, if we're being honest, it's probably unlikely because even though All-Star seems like it would be a break, these guys have so much going on their plate during that weekend that I almost feel bad for them sometimes being out there because they're busier than they would be if they were just in season.
Right.
So they kind of miss out on having like an actual rest period.
It's a different type of strain, like where all the media appearances and stuff, and it'd be fun to see them do any of these things, but let's be real, like during All-Star break, they're trying to do as little as possible.
Yeah.
And anything that could get them hurt as soon as one guy like tweaks his ankle.
That would be shut down
could be
forever.
like, okay, well,
shut it down, never again. Oh my gosh, supermarket sweep, Brittany said in the chat. That would be so funny.
That would be awesome.
That would be so perfect.
What about, we just turned the entire All-Star weekend into a real-life NBA Jam tournament.
I mean,
the two best guys from every team go play a single elimination tournament to be crowned the best duo in the league.
I'd be down for that.
Yeah, that would be super fun.
Put like a $10-15 million prize out there for the winning duo. You get competition.
Yeah.
They need to put up some more money for these things. If they put up, the NBA put up more money for these things, they might be able to convince players to do them a little bit more. But even then, I feel like maybe not, because they'd have to put up a substantial amount for some of these guys. They're like, $1 million? No thanks.
Yeah, I'd be down for like because like the 2K tournament was fun, but like watching the actual 2K games got kind of boring after a while. But if they're playing something like wacky, like NBA Jam or like a Mario Kart or something like that, I would definitely watch that.
Yeah, that'd be super fun. All right, gentlemen. Well, thank you for joining me and chatting a little Suns basketball, some fun All-Star things. Thank you all for tuning into another post-game show. We appreciate your support. Of course, as always, we're going to take tomorrow off again, and then we will be back here on Saturday with a pregame show and, of course, a postgame show. So plan accordingly. Until then, you can follow me on Twitter at Lindsey Smith AZ. You can follow Gerald at Gerald Bourget. You can follow Espo at Espo. And you can follow the show at PHNX_Suns. Espo, take us home.
Remember, if you're an intern, you may have to do stupid things. Ahoy hoy.